Is it cold just in your house or is it in Australia?
It's cold in Australia. It's not normally this cold at this time of year, but for some reason we've just had like I don't know, some weird weather. I'm literally in thermals right now. I've got a heat pack on my lap
Also,
as
why
well.
in my mind am I trying to assign weather to an entire continent when it's like New York has
Exactly,
completely
because
different
Australia
weather
is
than
very
me in
big.
Portland? Yes. Is it cold in Australia? Is it cold in the United States of America? I'm not smart.
Well,
Sorry.
generally Southern Hemisphere, but it is very
It's very true.
wide.
Yeah, it's like multiple time zones. You got like 4 or 5 time zones there or something, right?
I don't think
No,
that
maybe I'm making
many.
that up. I
No,
thought I
not
saw
that
that there
many.
was like a decent amount there. I don't know. Time zones plague me, so I'm just always thinking they're bad.
I think the States has more time zones.
Probably, but now I want to know how many Australia has.
I feel like there's maybe
Yeah,
four.
I mean, we really have 4. Technically, we have the weird Arizona that doesn't do daylight saving time. But other than that, we just have.
They actually alternate between saying mountain and Pacific. Like PT and MT.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They don't have a different like sign off. They just say like I'm in mountain time now or I'm in Pacific time now.
That's even more confusing.
I know someone who lives in Arizona, so
I think we have 3, but I could be wrong.
I heard you guys had 12, I think. Like
12?
Yeah, 12 or 15.
I think
no, I'm just kidding.
Just Jesse going off the rails.
I'm making fun of myself. I think I said 5 before.
All right. Well, this is the ADHD Founders Podcast. It's cold in Australia, and we are here talking Jesse, Sharon, Marie, and we were just going to maybe give an update on what we were working on past couple weeks since we last talked, and then dive into anything.
Yeah, I've got kind of a big update, so I think I'll go last. So why don't we go to Marie? Why don't you kick us off?
And just so everyone knows, Marie is drinking a protein shake, but they don't have this in the U.S. It is literally looks like a children's juice box, but it is like 17 grams of up and go protein energized chalk hit, and it's an adorable juice box.
It does look like you're like a little child holding your your juice box whenever you take a sip.
Getting ripped.
It's very early for me. I didn't have time to have breakfast, so trying to get some
But sorry, Marie, I will stop making fun of your protein choices. What have you been working on the last couple of weeks?
What have I been doing since we last spoke? I've been struggling to do some content. The sort of content I do is a little bit different to the content you guys are doing, I think. But I'm trying to do more like, here's what I'm doing today, or an update on me. Maybe I've gone into a co-working space, or, I've been crashing at my friend's office as well, just to change up my environment. So I've been posting little snippets on that. I've been doing some dev work, but it's kind of been hard to get back into because I'm playing multiple roles right now. So I'm doing everything really, like business admin. Let's not forget business admin is a part of being an entrepreneur, some of the boring stuff. So I've been doing some of that.
Unfortunately, the important business admin stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Somebody has to do it and it's you. So
yeah. Nobody talks about this though, right? Nobody posts about it because it's not really sexy, and no one wants to hear about the fact that you've done some admin stuff. So no one posts.
Like as an ADHD founder specifically, like I think let's assume that no business owner or founder likes taxes and forms, but like literally the most painful thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather do anything that like build the website and scope a whole product literally than filling out a form and sending it in.
Sometimes I'm tempted just to start a whole new business because I don't want to do the admin on my current business. Like I'd rather do that, something crazy.
But then you have to do formation paperwork and incorporate it, and that's admin.
That's true, but there's a lot of services out there that can do that for you in a couple of clicks. So
Stripe
that's automated.
Actually, we just did Stripe Atlas for WavePal, and it's even better than it was because I did it a couple of years ago for a different app that I co-founded with someone that I'm not with that team anymore. But they sent you some stuff that you had to fill out and then mail it yourself. There's, I think it's like 80B form or something like that. It's really important. You have to do it in the first 30 days, and there's no way to fix it later. Yeah, 83B, is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, so this time, when we did it like a month ago, it's automated now, so I didn't have to do anything.
They mail it?
Yeah, they take care of that for you.
I literally had my mom go with me to the post office because I was so afraid of doing it wrong, because it is this big, scary thing.
Yeah.
That, like, make sure to take it. And they said, like, Jason Kwan, who used to be general counsel for Y Combinator, but is is my friend and I've worked with him a couple times. He like was like, take a photo of it, like a literal photo of it outside the post office, like have all this chain of evidence. And I was so stressed out. I had my mommy come meet me at the post office to just supervise me doing it. Cause I don't like the post office. It scares me. I can't believe they do that for you now.
Yeah. So it was, I was a little bit extra stressed because I didn't know that I was like, where's the thing? What do I have to do? Because they still sent me like emails letting me know, hey, this thing needs to happen. Hey, this is the next step in the process that's happening. And then I got an email that's like, it's done. I was like, what? I didn't, for reals? Like I kept looking through because I was like terrified that I was missing something.
I was going to say, are you sure?
Yeah. There's always like a little bit of doubt.
Yeah, I kept looking, and my co-founder, who does not have ADHD, he looked and he was like, it looks like everything is good. So I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, because I think it's the sort of thing where if you don't get it right, huge tax issues later.
Especially if you're successful, whichever you...
Right.
Like, it's extra impactful. Like, if you fail, then it's fine.
You just close, you just close up shop and you're done. You're like,
yeah, but it matters on how you would actually be taxed if your company ever like makes a lot of money or gets acquired. You'd get screwed.
Right. So yeah, so Stripe Atlas, I can confirm, like does make a lot of that formation stuff really, really easy, which is great.
And Marie, you were talking about admin, and then Jesse and I were like, I feel the pain. Let's talk about it.
I guess my main point is like I'm doing a lot of context switching with different roles, admin, marketing, and creating, content and trying to do dev because there's a lot of features that are being requested on Llama Life. And like I know what I need to build because the themes that come through are consistent. Like there's a lot of people asking for the same things. So I know exactly what I need to build, but I just need to have time to do it. And
I'm curious what your approach is. Like, are you wanting to do like a big swing feature that would change things significantly or like little onesie twosies?
Yeah, there's a mixture, which is good because I can kind of maybe do some smaller ones first, right? Like just to get back into the swing of doing dev. It's really hard for me to switch from doing like content stuff, marketing to dev. Like it's maybe a different part of your brain that's being used. And for the dev stuff, I need like a warm up almost. Like sometimes I'm looking at the code going, I got to like refresh myself on like what's been written and put that in my mind. And sometimes that takes a little while. And then I don't actually get to coding like the feature. And then I need to stop and do something else. And then I come back, I'm like, oh man, I got to like refresh my mind again. Like, what is this? Like, what's the flow? Like, how did I do this before? Anyway, there's a lot of that stuff happening. Like I kind of need a warm up and then I go into it and then I need a big chunk of time. I can't come in and out really easily. I need like a solid few hours.
Have you tried doing, obviously you can't totally do this because of support, but have you tried like assigning days? So like Monday through Wednesday is like dev day and Thursday through Friday is maybe more of that. Like you create content and schedule it for the next week, that sort of thing.
I probably should do that. Like I've been doing it more like dividing the day. So I'm sort of doing like
it's so painful
morning
to do
is
that.
Customer support and then maybe try and do a bit of content and maybe do dev in the afternoon. But maybe I should do what you're saying and just have days of the week because then I can go in fully focused on that. But I don't know if I could do a whole day of content. That's like that's
What
extreme,
could just be like your
content batching.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of batching. Yeah, a non-dev day where you do some content, and then if you get done with that, maybe you have like a list of other things that are like a non-dev day task. Yeah.
Then the context switching happens overnight, like while you sleep, and then you wake up going, I'm going in with this mindset today versus I'm trying to switch throughout the day. And I think that's kind of throwing me a bit.
And I wonder, I'm always the person who's like, let's make the goal smaller. Like just starting with one day, like Tuesdays are a dev day. And like you could always add more, but at least you're not kind of in your head of like, you could wait on any customer service thing for 24 hours. I'm sure you often don't see them for 24 hours. So like, you could be checked out for one day. At least in terms of the outside world.
I mean, I agree with you. Like when someone sends us a customer support thing, we actually have an out of office that goes back straight away. And it doesn't say I'm out of the office. It says I'm just using the out of office to trigger it. But it just says, hey, I'm based in Australia. I'll try to get to this as soon as possible, but it could be up to like 24 to 48 hours. And then I put in like all these FAQs and links in that email so they can self-help if they need to. So that's a good little trick just to use the out of office for that. and set the expectation.
You kind of have a fun built-in excuse of saying, hey, I'm in Australia, which means a lot of people, their time zone isn't going to be lined up. And so that feels like you get a little freebie.
Yeah, my Monday's their Sunday.
Yeah, your Mondays are Sunday. So like Monday could be your dev day, or maybe
that's true, but don't forget my Saturday is your Friday. And that's the one that gets me, because people expect me to be there because it's Friday, technically a work day, but it's my Saturday. So and I treat my Saturday like my Saturday.
Fridays have to be lower for complaints though, because people are less productive.
That's true. Like it's so funny. Like there's a really clear trend in terms of signups and people paying for subscriptions. It's always on my Tuesday, which is your Monday.
Yes, people
always
start the week and like, my life sucks. I need to get control. No one's doing that on a Friday.
Stuff in order. Yeah. It's so clear. It's like uncanny. It's like you look at over time. It's like spike, and it's always on your Monday.
Same thing with Shelpful. The signups are like, they're weekends. I think too. People reflect on their life being a mess, so we get like a lot of Sunday night signups, where people are kind of like at the Sunday scaries and going into the week. But even just engagement wise, we see Friday pretty low in terms of people like sticking to things, trying to crank through, doing habits. Like they're kind of going easy on themselves, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Not going to complain too much about that.
I think I'll take your tip, Jesse. I think I might try different days. That might be easier. But I'll give that a go. I'll report back next time. What have you been doing, Sharon?
We are bringing beta testers into our iPhone app later this week. These the first couple
that's
ones.
Exciting.
It's a pretty big milestone, yeah. So we've been working really, really hard on an iPhone app, basically a version of our service that exists. Like it works over WhatsApp right now. So we chose iPhone as the first platform. Obviously, we plan to do Android. And so have it, like, I think it's substantially better already than our WhatsApp version. There's definitely a lot of little things, that come up in any app development of stuff. Like, we haven't had to do push notifications before. And for like a productivity service, like which we're like an AI task manager, WhatsApp is great at push notifications, and it's such a huge app. They've gotten really good at it, and people already use WhatsApp, so they're looking at those. If someone doesn't see a push notif from our app, their productivity may suffer. And so just like thinking through all those things and trying to make those as impactful as possible and all that is definitely on my mind. But, we're really trying to, our MVP technically was the WhatsApp version. So I'm not trying to call this an MVP. And also it's a launch into the App Store, which if it sucks, you get bad reviews from day one. So we can't have it be like a really scrappy version. So we are trying to make it like a serviceable, good version. And I think it's great. Personally, I've already really liked it. The biggest thing I worked on, because I do a lot of prompt engineering, because anybody can be a prompt engineer, even though I don't have a development background. So I worked a lot on our onboarding experience. So we kind of tried to replicate. I've told you guys in the past that we did, like, my other co-founder and I would do like habit coaching calls for new customers who kind of signed up for the higher tier. And that would be this great entry into the product, because we were able to coach them into habits that were actually easier to stick to because they were smaller and more doable. And so we kind of tried to replicate that in the app, where you come in and you automatically start this conversation, and it's like a coaching session, really short and sweet. That was another part I worked really hard on, but it like coaches you into, what's your big goal? I want to run a marathon. Okay, well, how about we start with like getting your shoes on?
Put your shoes on.
So like,
right.
Yeah, that's what. So training that part and like getting that prompt right was a lot of work. And I actually use OpenAI Playground for that. I don't know if you guys have ever played around with that, but it's just a great place to just quickly mess with things. So yeah, that'll be the new onboarding experience will be in it, and people can really easily give custom instructions. So I've been having mine swear at me for the last week, and it's been so much fun. Did you wash your bleeping face yet, Sharon? Like a lot of those questions that like, oh, wow, I'm really paying attention to this. So it's always fun when you smile about your own product and you kind of feel a little bit of the glow. So I'm feeling a little bit of the glow. So I'm hopeful that other people will too, and just excited to get some people in and learn a little bit. But also we have to kind of temper it. Like we're going to get feedback and we're going to get feature requests. And like, I already kind of know I have a feeling for the next big things I want to do. So I feel like we're going to have to balance like the little bugs or onesie twosie features and kind of try to temper that flow and still keep focused with like our eye on the prize on like really, making the product truly remarkable with some like big swing features that it might mean remarkable in the literal sense of the word, as in like make people talk about it. And so that's kind of my obsession. So I'm going to really try to have my like relentless founder hat on in logging all the feature requests, really caring about them, obviously, but really also kind of being able to step outside and innovate. So that's my spinning thing that I'm focusing on.
One thing with the ratings, you mentioned at the beginning, you were worried about when you launch the MVP, you might get bad ratings and stuff from the start. You can reset the ratings. So when you submit a new version of the app, there's a little like toggle at the bottom that says, do you want to like reset the ratings or something? So that'll wipe everything. So if you have good ratings, you maybe don't. If you're really far along and you've gathered like thousands of ratings, like you don't want to do that. But if you're just starting and you've got like, 20 bad ones or mediocre ones or stuff that you just don't want, you can reset it and you can just say, I want to reset it to this version. So it'll only show the ones after that.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Did you know that, Jesse?
I did not. I haven't
Marie,
submitted.
teach us more.
It's been like 15 years since I submitted something to the App Store. So
do they limit you on how many times you can do that?
I don't think so.
I'm not planning on having so many bad reviews
every other week.
I don't think there's any limit. It's just when you submit it, you can just toggle it and say, do you want to reset it?
That makes sense because like the thing with reviews is like you don't want bad reviews, but you also don't want no reviews. And so like I think it's automatically just built in that like there's no need for them to limit you resetting it because resetting it is kind of an extreme measure anyway that you're not going to want to do often.
You wouldn't really do it like once you're kind of far into it. Like I can't really do it now because like I want to keep all the ones that we've got.
And also quantity means something.
Quantity,
too,
yeah.
Totally. I compare it to like when I wrote my book, like one of the biggest things I achieved with my book is I hit 100 ratings on Amazon. I would never want that number to be under 100 again because that's such an important indicator. If someone like mentions an iPhone app and then I pull it up and it has like no reviews or 3 reviews, it immediately, I'm probably not going to download the app. Like
we're also wondering if it's like a scammy thing too, right?
Or maybe I'm not even on the right app. Like it totally changes the perspective when there's no ratings. Those ratings are really important for kind of that clout. So
that's okay. That's helpful. Because I think that but I think you guys have talked about this too. It's hard to fight that instinct of like just sitting on it until you think it's really, 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 really amazing, best thing ever versus just getting it out and having people, because it's better than our current version. And that's what I keep saying out loud to myself and the team is like, it's better than what we have right now. And we have paying users who are with us for months and months. Like, let's just get this out.
I saw a really good quote yesterday, actually. And it was perfectionism is the fear of being criticized. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. Like, don't want to be criticized. So I'm trying to make it like really good. And I know that I shouldn't perfect it necessarily, but that really hit me. Like, yeah, perfection is the fear of being criticized. I was like, wow, I saved it.
Yeah, that's so huge for people with ADHD. That's why so many of us are perfectionists because we grew up with all the criticism. And so we build up all of these defenses to try and hide from any future criticism because we've already had, the estimate of whatever it is, 10,000 more critical messages by the time we're 12 or whatever it is. I don't want any more criticism. And so we build up all these defense mechanisms, and perfectionism is definitely a big one of those. If I keep iterating on it, then I'm avoiding anybody being able to say anything negative about it because they can't see it yet. And I think what we tell ourselves is I'm going to get it to the point where it can't be criticized. And 1, that'll never happen. And 2, you end up never releasing it because you're just going to keep iterating and it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect yet because it never can be perfect.
How you can dead solve everything, Jesse, is so great. Remember, everyone, his book is called Extra Focus. Because it is. That's how we grew up. You're right. Like those 2 things are so true. The criticism, the fear of it is so real for us specifically.
So the app coming out soon. Anything else going on in Shelpful world?
That's the biggest thing. And I do content too. We just passed 74,000 followers this week. Kind of just had a little uptick. So I'm trying to kind of, while the app is brewing, there's this weird conflict in my brain, which is I don't want to keep sending people to old product, when we're so close to launching the new one, which I guess you could rationalize doing it, but I'm like, I just know they'd like it so much better. this way. And it's hard to win someone back if they really don't like what they saw. So I've just been kind of trying to grow my follower base with messages that are true of our product, like, things that our product does help people with, which is like lowering the bar for success and creating like small sustainable things and all that stuff. So I kind of just have been focused on content wise, just growing that audience so that I can then be like, hey guys, check out my app. I've been doing some posts about our beta. And so we've gotten a lot of signups for the beta, which has been fun too. A lot more than I anticipated, I guess.
Did you say 74,000? Is that for Shelpful?
Yeah. Instagram.
That feels huge. I feel like brands usually don't have that many. That feels like an influencer type of number, not a brand.
Yeah,
so that feels like a
know,
pretty big deal.
Thank you. And my approach to our social media, because I was really struggling with anything about the brand or product. And so I kind of set my mission as I am going to become an influencer whose client is Shelpful.
Yeah, because your posts are about you.
People follow me, I think. And I don't say that with an ego. I say it because that's just how, like, the posts that have brought people in follower wise have been like really vulnerable posts, but they also are often kind of the end of the post is about how I created Shelpful to help me with all that stuff. So I've also been successful at driving signups from those posts. So it's kind of worked so far. But yeah, it's been a slog too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's you posting about your stuff, but it's using the Shelpful handle.
Yeah, I actually even made my personal account private. I have like 500 personal followers. I just post everything on Shelpful, and I actually spend most of my time on Instagram on Shelpful.
Yeah, so you've kind of got a combination of stuff. Like Jesse was saying, like it's an influencer post because it's you and your story and your, what you're doing, building Shelpful, but you're using the Shelpful handle. You've kind of got like a mixture.
Yes. And it is, in my bio, it's very clear who I am and what my product is and that there's a free trial. But yeah, I think I saw people do that approach. And from a content creation standpoint, often they were selling something really different. Like Big Little Feelings is an account and they sell like a course, but it was very much about them, the content was, as well as tips. So like I was like, let me put myself in, let me put tips because I have a lot of those. I can't stop myself. And then there's actually this account called Baked by Melissa, and she owns a cupcake company, but she loves to make salads.
Yeah,
she makes salads for herself for lunch and started sharing them on TikTok and Instagram too, and grew this huge following. She makes these delicious salads. I love salads, so I followed her. But her product is cupcakes. So like every now and then she talks about the cupcakes, and they mail order. She can send them.
They do like these mini cupcakes, Jesse. It's like super cute.
But the content is about her. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just try that. Because I don't want to follow brands either.
Yeah, I think I'm slowly going toward this approach as well. Llama Life's Instagram used to post just Llama Life stuff like new feature or some ADHD tip, but branded with Llama Life's brand. But I'm starting to put more of my stuff in there and not really using my personal account that much. My personal account's really nothing. It's kind of hard because, like you said, no one wants to follow brands.
Yeah, there's like a few brands I follow, but not like you don't discover a brand and then decide to follow them usually. It's more like, oh, I already know a brand and maybe I care. And so I kind of want to see them. That feels like you're doing really well there. So like, nice job.
It was just like the hack because I was like, I'm posting stuff and it's doing nothing and I'm sick of it. So let me just try something else. Most things are out of desperation. But at the end of the day too, I spent a lot of time on content and I'm like, I never cared about being an influencer. I would never have signed up to just be an influencer. That just isn't something I would do. I want my product to be successful. You know what I mean? Like I want Shelpful to change people's lives. And so it's a tough balance because you have to kind of switch hats in a way that is hard. Because you're like, what will get views versus what will get customers? And balancing those two is hard.
Yeah. That's kind of the trick with any of that like content creation stuff is what can I do that is going to get the views, get people to engage and share it and those sort of things, but also click my link or comment so that I can send you a link or like get an action to take place on the end. I remember that was one of the struggles I had when I was doing TikTok content, which I did for a little while and found success, but it was so hard to get anybody there to do anything. Like to get people to go from there to sign up for a newsletter or to go sign up for this thing or do that thing. They just don't want to leave TikTok. They just want to swipe to the next video that entertains them.
TikTok makes it harder than Instagram. I think if you say link in bio, it like suppresses it. And
Right.
also there's no comment, like the direct messages are really locked down on TikTok. So it's just harder to transactionally, they're trying to keep people in, like, because TikTok Shop is way more robust than Instagram Shop is. So they're just trying to keep you there. So if you have a physical product, it's good. You're in a good spot.
So that is the one thing I need to do, that because I actually do have a physical product, my book, and I should spend the time to like figure that out so I could get it in TikTok Shop and stuff like that. But I haven't. I don't know. There's a million things that I could be doing, but that is probably one worth putting some time into at some point, probably this year. Now TikTok Shop it's much easier to integrate that with videos. I know Danny Donovan's had a lot of success with doing her videos and having them go to get Anti-Planner in the TikTok Shop.
And they actually just launched a book tagging feature too, because there's a lot of book talk.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people recommend books. And so you can actually tag a book specifically. So, but I mean, you have to be actually doing content for it to be worth it. Like it is one of those things like, yeah, you could spend time setting it up, but if you're not actually posting videos,
right,
it's not going to do anything. Well, yeah, Jesse, I guess segue to that. Like, tell us what you're working on other than your book on TikTok.
Yeah, new priority, drop everything and get my book on TikTok Shop. No, so for the past couple of weeks, I've been working on launching a course. And so I've been there's a book called Launch by Jeff Walker. And it's, what is it called? Like Product Launch Framework or something like that. And I've basically been following the book to a T and doing that for launching my course, which the course is called, well, now, by the time this episode comes out, like the course is closed. You can't sign up now, but you can join the waiting list. But the course is called ADHD Motivation Mastery. And it's like, I haven't locked down the exact weeks, but probably like 8 weeks long, where I'm going to like do drip content. So every week, a new module with videos will come out for ADHD and motivation. And then I also last minute decided to make it a community. So that's been kind of interesting. Like the night before it launched, I was like, I want to make it a community because I feel like I was hearing from people that what they wanted was to be able to connect with other people. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. It's going to be messy and maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I won't, but I'll learn from it for sure. And so I very last minute decided to add a community. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
What platform did you use?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. I used Circle. Have you ever used Circle much before?
Yeah, I haven't used it.
I like the look of Circle. I like the design. It looks clean and...
I feel like, and also, they're kind of like the only game in town other than like the native, like Facebook groups and things.
Yeah, I've seen some other ones, but like Circle really is the one that does it best. I mean, unless you want real time, and then there's like Slack, but Slack is so expensive.
Well, there's also Discord, but I feel like stuff gets lost in those ones because Circle's more like forum based. Like you got topics, and you can go back into a topic. Whereas Slack and Discord, I mean, you've got channels, but then the conversation sort of still just disappears like very quickly depending on how many people you have in the group and how many people are posting. It just like
I personally I really like Slack, but the problem, kind of like what you said, it's like if you're not there when things are happening, it's really easy to feel behind, and then you're not interested to like check it anymore. It feels great if you're there real time, but otherwise kind of not. And for this, Circle felt like the right place where people can post, then they can do their own thing for a couple of days and then come back and check and kind of catch up on things that happen without it feeling like this infinite scroll.
I'd be really interested to see how that goes because I feel like community itself is a whole product. Like it takes a lot of effort because you kind of, especially at the beginning, you need to kind of seed the conversations, make sure there's stuff happening. Because if I go to a community and it's dead, like, I mean, I'd leave real quick, you know?
Like communities without moderators, you know, without someone to start the conversation.
Yeah. The moderation part is a whole job on its own.
Right. So it's very much the sort of thing, like I said, it's very much an experiment where I want to learn from like what is going to work here and what's not. Because like the worst case is, okay, well, I shut it down. I didn't even promise it when I was selling the course anyway. And so it was the last thing that I added. Marie's having issues with her.
Oh no, I thought it made
her Kool-Aid there.
Well, I thought I was sipping.
Is it going to come out your nose?
Sipping the chocolate thing, and I got to the end, and it like had an air bubble, and it just made. Well, I kind of made it worse by talking about it, but I thought it made like a massive sound, and then that's why I made that reaction.
Oh well, I think Riverside must have blocked it out, so you're good.
End of the juice box protein, everyone. It has
so
been
satisfying. It's like chocolate.
We got to put a link to it in the show notes. I mean,
I'd highly recommend it.
Know where to get
if they want to sponsor us. No,
the chalk hit flavor. going back from before the community thing. So one of the things I did for the launch, because I've done like some small courses before, but I didn't really I had no like launch plan. I just sort of like mentioned it a couple times in my newsletter and, hoped for the best. And so like usually I got like 30 people to sign up or something like that. And this time I tried to like follow this whole campaign. So it was basically like a 2-week launch where I had the first week, I did 3 short videos that were just like free content of like, hey, I'm going to do this short video series on ADHD and motivation. And then I released a video like on Monday and then on Wednesday and then on Friday. And then as people watched that, I was sort of like tagging them in ConvertKit as like somebody that's interested, that, like a prospect for the course potentially. And then on the following week, that's when I did the actual launch. And I don't know, I'm guessing you're both kind of like me, where like sending emails that are like marketing, it like feels extremely painful. I don't know
like
if you have any thoughts on that.
self-promotion. Yeah, I just feel you're just like, people don't want this. I don't know. You do a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah. I just saw somebody I can't remember who it was. Somebody posted and said like had in quotes, like, all you do is shameless self-promotion. And they're like, no, I don't. There's a lot of shame behind each one of these that I send.
Oh my gosh. Wow,
which is
that
pretty
resonates.
hilarious. So much shame in this promotion.
Yeah,
And I'm just thinking
promotion.
the Game of Thrones, like shame, shame, shame.
Yes, totally. Oh my gosh.
Jesse walking down. Like,
as you're hitting send. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, exactly. So I decided to go. Like I'm always terrified every time I send an email. Like I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to be that overly markety guy that's like sale. So what I ended up doing, I did a campaign where anyone that was just on my general like newsletter list, I emailed them 3 times, and one of those was just my normal newsletter. So I mentioned it in my normal newsletter, and I announced when the cart was open, when they could like buy the course for the first time. And then I sent a final reminder on the last day. But then I went to follow the actual like crazy marketing plan for anybody that had clicked a link within an email that like indicated that they were more interested. And I kind of added them to another list in ConvertKit. That ended up being like probably a couple thousand people. And I emailed them every day. And so every day there was an email, and then like 3 emails on the last day, which, oh my gosh, felt like so much. And I felt like, oh, people are going to hate this. But so my massive list is like 70,000 people. And then I had the like 2,000-ish people that I emailed every day. 0 complaints. Like some people unsubscribed, which is fine. Nobody emailed me and said like, why are you sending so much email? The thing I'm terrified that I'm going to hear. It's like, no one said that at all. And so I think people are just kind of used to like, oh, someone's launching a thing, they're probably going to email me a bunch about this thing. And it was kind of like not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I guess it feels like a moment in time to people, right? Like at a big sale, like a Memorial Day sale, like it's like, all right, I'm going to hear about this a lot for a day.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. There might be some nuance here too, because like you've also earned that. Like you've been working on this list for a long time, and you've been providing value outside of this new launch for a long time. So if I've been following you and getting all that value, and then suddenly I get 3 emails in a day, I might be like, oh, that's quite a bit. But you know what? I love Jesse's content still. And I'm just going to stick around because I know he's just doing this launch. But if someone starts from scratch and they do that to me and I just sign up, I don't know if I'd stick around. So it might depend, because your list is a reasonably established list with a history of like value.
One point on the other side of the coin, though, too, is his audience is mainly ADHD. I'm on your list, Jesse. I don't remember getting any of the emails. Love you. I didn't see any of them. So like,
not a single one.
You know what I mean? So like,
that's amazing.
you're almost like just going for your hit. Maybe if you have a neurotypical audience, cool it on the emails.
That's so funny and so true. Because I feel like I've heard from people this week. They were like, I didn't know you were doing a course. Like, what? When did this happen? And I'm like, how could you not? I feel like I've sent you 1,000 emails. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like the same sort of thing happens with my book, especially the first like year when the book came out. And I felt like all I was doing is promoting the book. And then people would still be like, oh, I didn't even know you had a book. I was like, how do you know anything that I do and not know that I have a book? I feel like it's all I talk about. But it's so funny how we're just like biased, because I know every single thing that goes out that is talking about the book. But most people aren't seeing 95% of that stuff because they're not following me on all the platforms, and they're not reading every email and all of those like different things.
Repost,
And they don't see every post.
One
Exactly.
of 5 posts. Yeah.
This might be overkill for a product launch, but I did see something interesting recently. So it was for Mother's Day. And I think Mother's Day is the same day in Australia as in the States. But Father's Day, interestingly, just fun fact, is a different day. So your Father's Day is different to our Father's Day, but Mother's Day is the same. But anyway, I saw this thing, like I guess I'd bought some flowers for somebody in the past. And so I was subscribed to their marketing list, like online flower delivery thing. And they were sending out like heaps of emails for Mother's Day, like heaps, like it was like bombarding. And they had a really cool thing that said like, hey, if you want to unsubscribe for the Mother's Day stuff, you can, but they won't unsubscribe me from their whole mailing list. It's just for that campaign. And that might be something that people could be interested in doing if they've got an established list and they don't want to lose people from that. Like it's just, hey, I've got this one thing that I'm doing heaps on, and if you don't want that, it's not relevant, you can unsubscribe just from that.
That's super smart because most people just segment it like unsubscribe from promotions versus other stuff. But like that's so laser specific
For this campaign this week for this Mother's Day event.
Yeah, smart. I like that. Marie, I'm going to take that idea too.
Yeah, if you use ConvertKit, it's really easy to set that sort of thing up too.
Okay,
so
cool.
I have it set up. I thought about doing that and I didn't have like an obvious thing to do it. But if you hit unsubscribe, it takes you to a page where you can see the topics, and that's what ConvertKit calls it, like topics. And so if somebody hit unsubscribe, then they would see a page that says, oh, do you want to unsubscribe from Extra Focus Newsletter, ADHD Motivation Mastery? Like, so they would, and there's like a few others I have in there. WavePal is one. And so they would see, and I saw that a lot of people did this, like, oh, they clicked unsubscribe. And then they saw that list and were like, oh, I just don't want to hear about this course. And they could uncheck that.
Yeah.
And then they would stay on the list.
I've definitely seen that too. But the thing that struck me that was a little different with this one was it was in their copy, like in their email, like their own messaging. They make some kind of joke about it. And then when you click it, you don't have to click again after that. Like they kind of brought it one step earlier and into their own content. They wrote their own thing versus, I know what you're saying. It's like unsubscribe from what? And then there's like the whole list of things. Then you have to go through and go, what is this thing? Oh, it's the course. Which one's the course? Like there's a little bit more mental load.
And I would bet, Marie, that I'm guessing you didn't unsubscribe. It almost just gave you the message, like, this isn't going to last forever. You know, like it almost...
Oh, no, I unsubscribed.
Oh, you did?
I unsubscribed from that one. Just
Mother's Day, yeah.
Because it was so easy. It was so easy to do,
yeah.
and I didn't really want to see it.
So that's actually why I decided not to do it, because I was on the fence. Sometimes, like, I don't know if you want people to... Like, I wanted them to be able to do it for sure, which is why I had it on the unsubscribe. I feel like I try to fight, because my nature is to be apologetic in marketing, which is silly. Like that's not good marketing, but that's sort of like the shame. Like I'm so sorry, but I think this would be really helpful for you. So I want to tell you about it. But that's ultimately why I decided not to do that. I kind of thought about maybe I could do that if I'm doing a larger campaign like that again, like maybe not have it initially, but like a couple in or something.
Or one that's more niche. Cause I think I love this idea too for Mother's Day. It's probably, sometimes fear of hurting feelings can spark innovation, and not everyone has a mother, and so like that could be what led them down that road. If you're getting all these things and your mother recently died, you're like, get this out of here,
right,
or whatever reason. And so your audience is, you're talking about ADHD course and they're subscribed to ADHD newsletter. Maybe it's not as necessary, but if you were doing a Mother's Day special or something like that, then maybe that's when you employ that type of thing. But I love, Maria, I think that's such a good idea.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. So this is a couple episodes ago, but we had our episode where we were talking about grief and we were talking about, having lost pets and stuff like that. And I can't remember which company it was, but there's some like dog food company where they have like a subscription and they have this
Chewy.com.
So
Yes.
So you have this subscription, and then if you cancel it and say, "Oh, my dog passed," they have this whole like they send you like a gift basket sort of thing, and
it
so
automatically
sorry for your
triggers
loss.
flowers sent.
Yeah,
and they refund your most recent purchase, so that you don't have to think about it, and they have you donate because usually people do it after they just received a shipment, so they refund that recently received shipment because they can't do returns. But yeah, Jesse, I think I saw that, maybe the same thing you did on that. But
Yeah, it's
it tore
such
my
a brilliant
heartstrings.
thing, because you think about that, and like I'm sure that happened where they've early on that happened to them a couple times. They're like, oh, this feels terrible. Like we're doing the opposite of what we want to be doing for these people in their like really hard time. And they ended up, just trying to do like the nice, right thing, considering somebody in that sort of situation. And now, like, what happens when your dog passes and then you get that message? Like, you're probably going to get another pet in the future, and you better believe that's who you're going to go to for
Your
your dog
customer
food.
for life. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
so like this company, like that's the sort of like thing you can't buy somebody that cares about your company like that. And so I think being sensitive to those sort of situations can be just like huge. Yeah.
So Jesse, the course is going to be out there with the community.
The course did really well. I was pretty stoked. I kind of had like a target number where I kind of said, like, if it hits this number, then I'll feel like I can make this whole Jesse self-employed as a creator work. And I hit that number and passed it, and pretty happy with the results. So like, it's not enough currently to sustain me, but it was like, it kind of proved it enough to where like, okay, going forward, I can improve a lot of the process. I can like the price will definitely go up, because I kind of did a lower price with the goal of being able to get like really good testimonials this time around and stuff like that. It feels like, okay, I think I can make this work.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Like, or WavePal takes off, and then that becomes the thing instead. So yeah, or both. Why not? Why not both?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's good. You've got WavePal. That's one option, and you've got like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like
irons in the fire,
or just like I'm thinking of a food thing. Oh my god, why am I having like a brain fart?
a buffet.
Buffet.
Lazy Susan.
A portfolio.
Yeah,
Lazy
portfolio.
It's like a
Lunchable. A products. Which ones? Let me spin
Which
it.
one am I going to work on today?
Well, you're kind of spreading out the risk as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that also, and something I can resonate with what you're doing, I mean, you're creating a course for ADHD people who is also the target of WavePal. So it's not like you're doing this totally distracted thing. And I don't have current plans to make a in-depth course, but I made a really kind of quick and dirty course on how to use NFC tags to like automate your life. Because whenever I posted about it, because I'm kind of a weirdo like that, I always got such a response on Instagram and TikTok. And so I was like, let me just bang out a course that's like short and teaches people how to use these things. The justification, like how I was like, is this worth my time? Was we launched a service for coaches who want to keep their clients accountable, because we saw coaches organically sending people to Shelpful to like stick with their advice. Like, I'm telling you to structure your day like this and you're not doing it. So like, use this to keep you on it. And so I signed up as a coach on my own service. And so when people buy my course, the NFC tag course, they automatically get the AI mini me, which is what we're calling it, that I trained it on NFC tags specifically. So it's not our main product. There's like a layer of training that each coach can give it, because I made some PDFs on like troubleshooting, setting up, and a simple setup guide and all that. And I fed that into the AI. So it knows the troubleshooting steps, like the things that I would get comments and questions about on social media. So it knows all that stuff. So it can, number one, it can help you troubleshoot your NFC tag stuff, but it can also kind of stay with you after that and keep you to your habits and tasks and all that, which is really the point of our service to begin with. So I felt good about like kind of dog fooding it, as we say in the tech industry, which is eating your own dog food, using your own product.
And building a related
a lot of dog food themes.
Kind of funnels.
Yeah, why are we always talking about dog food? Sorry, Marie, what did you say?
Oh no, I was just saying, and building a related product that kind of funnels in.
Yes, that was my hope. So it was a growth test and a dog food thing, because I actually caught some bugs in our sign up, because when we've tested it a million times, but I created a course. I was the coach for it. I'm the subject matter expert. And so I was able to like, oh, it's weird that it didn't ask me this, or, so we kind of were able to make the product better when I was genuinely coming from a place as a coach. And so we have people signed up through that arm of our product. So I'm able to kind of keep an eye on that part of business too. So it got moderate signups. I think I priced it a little bit too high, because people kept telling me like, wow, this is next level. And then I think I listened to them too much, where I felt like I maybe should have priced it lower. We'll see. But I also
Pricing is so hard.
I know.
For that, it's so hard.
But my hope was that the course would go viral, and then we'd get all these long-term customers into the AI, chat service. We got a decent amount. I don't regret doing it at all. And it created a lot of content opportunities to snip up, and people really love like kind of the nerdy tips. And that's one of my specialties. So I figure I milked that a little bit.
Can I just say, I love having this chat with you guys, like bi-weekly or 2-weekly or whatever it is. I always get confused by the word bi-weekly. Does it mean fortnightly?
Fortnightly.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Because now I feel like I've got heaps of motivation. Like I can't wait to. I think I'm going to do dev today. I feel like I want to get into it. Yeah.
I love that it's the beginning of your day too.
It is. It's like 10
we're
a.m.
basically like finishing this and like signing off and all the motivation.
What's the thing? Motivation, momentum. See what I did there?
Momentum. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've got motivation, momentum.
Alliteration. Yeah, I think that's great. But you do have an appointment to get to
I
first.
do.
Are we running up?
I do.
Oh yeah, we're
minutes.
super late, so we should wrap it up. So
yeah, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, Marie, where can people go to follow what you're doing?
On Instagram, it's llamalife.co is the handle. And in the App Store, just search for Llama Life on Google Play or the iOS App Store.
Awesome. And how about you, Sharon?
You can find me at Shelpful, SHELPFUL, on Instagram and TikTok for habit advice and the occasional product mention. That's the main place. Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on social media, Instagram, Blue Sky, all the places at ADHD Jesse. Actually, Blue Sky, I guess it's ADHDJesse.com, but everywhere else doesn't have the .com. And then my newsletter is extrafocus.com, and WavePal, which we didn't talk about a ton this episode, but I'm still plugging away at that, is at wavepal.app.
And we'll add all those links in the show notes too. I might also drop the link for my beta sign up that I mentioned. And you can find us all, and especially Marie, because there was a video clip of her that got like over 100,000 views. It was super popular on Instagram.
Going viral.
It's still going.
Yeah, it's a good tip. So if you haven't heard it, head over to @ADHD_founders on Instagram, and we're on TikTok too. And you can comment there and engage with us. We'd love to talk to you.
In YouTube, you can see the video of this on YouTube, right?
Oh yeah, if you want to see me drinking the chocolate milk, YouTube.
Yeah, you can see the little Kool-Aid, the chocolate milk Kool-Aid box.
It's so good.
Head over ASAP.
Awesome. All right, thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.